Find a partner. If you're working alone, that's okay too. When you're done with this step, click the arrow on the right. Get your supplies. You'll get more supplies later.
So you can print this paper if you're at home. Maybe your teacher was able to give it to you. If not, you can follow along or draw something like it.
One person in each pair will cut along the thick black line in the center of the gold finder template so that you'll have two gold finders. After you cut them apart, keep one for yourself and give the other one to your partner. Now, fold your gold finder along the thin gray line in the middle of the page, like this. Line up the corners of the paper, then fold it using your fingernail to make a really good crease. Now it's time to glue. Open your gold finder back up and add glue to one of the blank sides. Coat that side with a good amount of glue, but try to keep away from the edges of the paper so that it doesn't get on your desk. Now, carefully fold the two halves of the paper back together. Gently press down, starting at the fold like this, so that you don't get any air bubbles. Cut along the dotted line on your gold finder so that the white border will be the same on all sides, like this. You can try to cut off any dotted line that's left behind, but it's okay if you don't. Before I reveal how to do this trick, we're going to give you a chance to watch it again and try to figure out how it works. Now, remember, when I did the trick, at first, every time I flipped it, the arrow always pointed in the same direction, like this. But by the end of the trick, the arrow pointed in different directions, like this. How does this happen? Discuss with a partner. See if you can figure out how it works.
All right, talk about it with a partner at home. How do you think the trick works? You're about to try it yourself. Observe, just like a scientist. Observe what's happening. Make a hypothesis. Make a good guess. What could happen?
All right, get your final supply, your magician's secret story. This sheet has pictures that will remind you of the story that goes with the trick. You might have noticed these tiny X's and O's on the side of your paper. Those are really important for you to know about so that you can do this trick. Here, I made one for myself with bigger X's and O's so that you can see them more easily on the screen. All right, I'll show you how to do this trick. To get started, turn the paper so that the X's are on the sides and so that the arrow points up like this. Then, pick it up so that your fingers are on the X's like this. Once you're holding it like this, go ahead and go to the next step. Continue holding the gold finder on the X's and flip it over. The arrow should point in the same direction. Keep flipping it over and tell the first part of the magician's story. I'll read the story one more time to remind you. Just listen and you'll practice in a minute. Okay, it goes like this. Today I met a leprechaun. He gave me this arrow and told me it would lead me to his pot of gold. All I had to do was turn it over every time I took a step, and the direction of the arrow would tell me where to go. Okay, that's the first part of the story. Take turns with your partner practicing this part. If it's helpful, I'll put a timer on screen.
All right, so go ahead and pause the video so you can practice this. I'm going to keep going, but you can pause the video if you want to practice more.
Now you'll pretend to be the leprechaun. After one of the flips, grab the gold finder from the top like this, where there's an O. Now you can be dramatic and really pull it out of your other hand. When you do this, tell the second part of the magician's story. You can say something like this. I think I got too close to the gold because the leprechaun snatched the arrow out of my hand. Okay, go ahead and practice this with a partner. I'll set a timer again in case that's helpful.
All right, pause the video so you can practice this. I'm going to move on.
Okay, keep holding the top of the sign. And now, with your other hand, grab the sign and pull it down a little like this. You'll now be holding the top and bottom of the sign, marked with the O's. When you do this, tell the third part of the magician's story. You can say something like this: I quickly grabbed the arrow back. Okay, it's practice time. Give it a few tries with your partner again. I'll set a timer in case that's helpful.
All right, you pause the video. I'm going to press next.
Now that you're holding the O's, start turning the gold finder again like this. You'll notice the arrows point in the complete opposite direction after each turn. When you do this, you'll tell the final part of the magician's story. You can say something like this: I grabbed the arrow back, but the leprechaun must have changed the arrow because now, every time I take a step, it tells me to go in the opposite direction. Now I'll never find the gold. Okay, that's the last part of the trick. I'll set a timer one last time so that you can practice.
Pause the video so you can keep practicing.
So now you know how to do the trick. Notice how all we did is change our hands from being on the sides of the sign at the beginning to being at the top and bottom of the sign at the end. The key to this trick is when you grab the sign like this. That's the distraction, so that people don't notice that you changed the way you're holding it. Now that you know this, go to the next step to finish practicing. So now you know how to do our magic trick. On the worksheet are pictures reminding you what to do so that you can practice on your own. Don't worry if you don't get it perfect right away. The best magicians sometimes spend hours practicing. But when you're ready, you can use this trick to fool your friends. Have fun and stay curious.
All right, and that is our little magic leprechaun St. Patrick's Day themed science lesson for this week. Stay curious, boys and girls, and have a great rest of your day.